Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Rajiv Kamal Kumar from N. Sinha Institute of Social Studies, Patna. Today we will learn the module Scheduled and Non-Scheduled Categories of Tribes from the paper Tribal Culture of India. The main objectives of this module are to understand the difference between tribes and scheduled tribes. The second objective of this module is to understand the problems faced by the scheduled tribes of India. Third objectives of this module is to explain about the various tribal social movements. And the last objective of this module is to justify about the integration of scheduled tribes with non-scheduled tribes. According to the latest census of 2011, the tribal population of India is more than 8% of the total population of the country. The tribes of India are varied in terms of their socio-economic and political development. Some of them have changed through Hinduization, through conversion to Christianity, or through some other route. Some tribal people are in transitional phase while others are still adhering to their old lifestyle to a large extent. This shows an uneven process of change and development among the tribal people in India. Only a small number of tribal people have been benefited by the policies and programs meant for their development. Uh, Professor L.P. Vidyarthi classified the tribal people into different geographical regions such as Himalayan region, Middle India, Western India and Southern Indian regions. These tribes numbering about 450 belong to various social, linguistic, economic, social and religious categories. There are numerous differences between these tribes because they are at different levels of development and participation in national life. However, in general terms, the tribes are economically, educationally, and politically backward as compared to the non-tribal population. They are lagging in almost all the important indicators of development such as health, education and other important indicator of development is their economic achievement. That is, most of the tribals are suffering from poor economic condition. Some of the states such as Madhya Pradesh, Odisha and Jharkhand in eastern India, Gujarat, Rajasthan and Maharashtra in western India have large number of tribal population. The states of Assam, West Bengal and Andhra Pradesh have also considerable number of tribal population. The states of northeastern India have more percentage of tribal population as compared to the other states. These states are showing a high concentration of tribal population, such as Lakshadweep Islands have 97.3% tribal population. The state of Nagaland have 93.09% tribal population. The state of Arunachal Pradesh has 88.59 and the Dadar Nagar Haveli has 88.43% of tribal population. However, some of the states such as Uttar Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Punjab, Haryana and Himachal Pradesh have very few number of tribal communities. The term scheduled tribe is defined in the Constitution of India under Article 366(25) as such tribes or tribal communities or parts of group within such tribes or tribal communities as are deemed under Article 342 to be called as scheduled tribes for the purpose of this Constitution of India. Professor G.S. Ghurye, in his book The Scheduled Tribes, mentioned the scheduled tribes are neither called the Aborigines nor the Adivasis, nor they are treated as a category by themselves. By and large, they are treated together with the scheduled caste and further envisaged as one group of the backward classes. Distinction was made between those tribes who were Hinduized and those who follow their own religion. However, some scholars have opined that no sharp line of demarcation can be drawn between Hinduism and animism. There is no uniform pattern of religion among the tribal people of India. Variation among the tribes can be seen in terms of the areas they live in, such as the Aravalli Hills, the Vindhyas, the Satpura Range, the Mahadev Hills, the Chotanagpur Plateau of Jharkhand, and several other areas. Numerically, the most important tribes are Gonds, Santhal, Bhils, Oraon, Kond, Munda, Bhuiya, Ho, Shavra, Kol, Korku, Maler, Baiga, and Meena. As mentioned, the tribal groups are mentioned in the Indian Constitution. Article 342 of the Constitution of India prescribes the procedure to be followed in the matter of specification of scheduled tribes. In terms of Article 342(1), the precedent with respect to any state or union territory and where it is state, after the consultation with the governor thereof, notify tribes or tribal communities as scheduled tribes. This confers on the tribe or as part of it a constitutional status, invoking the safeguards provided for them in the Constitution of India to these communities in their respective states and union territories. Thus, in terms of Article 342(1), only those communities who have been declared as such by the President through an initial public notification will be considered as scheduled tribes. Any further amendment in the list is to be done through an Act of Parliament through Article 342. The Parliament may, by law, include or exclude from the list of scheduled tribes any tribe or tribal community or parts thereof. It is also worth noting that the above article also provides for listing of scheduled tribes state-wise and union territory-wise and not on all India basis. The UN Devar Commission recommended that an area can be declared as tribal where more than 50% of the population are tribals. Economic criteria have also been suggested, such as dependence upon forest for food, primitive level of agriculture and forest both as source of livelihood and modern occupation, particularly employment in industries. Scheduling and descheduling of tribes. The first specification of scheduled tribes in relation to a particular state or union territory is by a notified order of the President of the country, after consultation with the state governments The order can be modified subsequently only through an act of parliament. The criteria generally adopted for a specification of a community as a scheduled tribes are the group of population showing primitive traits, having distinct culture, shyness of contact with the community at large or mainstream population, their geographical isolation and backwardness. These are not spelled out in the constitution but have become well established. They take into account the definitions given in the census of 1934, 1931. The reports of the first backward class commission, which is known as Kaka-Kelkar Committee in the year 1955, the Advisory Committee on Reservation of ST List, which is known as Lokur Committee 1965, and the Joint Committee of Parliament on the Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Orders Amendment Bill in the year 1967, and the Chanda Committee in the year 1969. These commissions and committees' reports are taken into account by defining the tribal population in India. At present, there are over 600 tribal communities as notified under Article 342 of the Constitution of India, and these tribal communities are spread over different states and union territories of the country, and some of the parts have larger concentration of tribal population, such as northeastern part of the country, some central states such as Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, and a few southern states and Andaman and Nicobar Island. The problems of scheduled tribes as well as non-scheduled tribes. Since tribal people are at different levels of social, political, and economic development, and they also have different ecological levels, their problems also differ in certain degrees from each other. These differences can be seen in terms of hill tribes and plain tribes and those who are engaged in different kind of economic activities such as forest-based economy and the ones who are employed as settled agriculturists or those who are engaged in any job or business and those who are Hinduized or converted to Christianity and those who are adhering to an unadulterated tribal way of life. That is, no major changes have taken place into this group of tribals. Despite these distinctions, some common problems of the tribals are poverty and exploitation, economic and technological backwardness, socio-cultural handicaps, problems related to their assimilation with the non-tribal population, educational backwardness, and low employment. So, the tribals vary in terms of economic pursuit, in terms of religion they follow, in terms of their geographical location, but there are certain problems which are common to all the group of tribal population in India. Professor S. U. Dubey has given a five-fold classification of the Indian tribes which provide a clear picture of the problems of tribal in India. The first group is Aboriginals, tribals living in the seclusion or complete isolation. The second is tribal group having an association with the neighboring non-tribal society and also maintaining their distinct characteristics. The third group is tribes who are living in villages along with the caste groups, sects and religious groups maintaining their own identity. The fourth group is tribals who have been degraded to the status of untouchables after coming in contact with the caste Hindus. And the fifth group of tribals who enjoy high social, economic, and political status. The tribals have been made to serve as bonded laborers, such as the domes and Koltaj in Uttar Pradesh, serve the upper caste population even till today. In Rajasthan, the Sagri system; in Andhra Pradesh, the Veti system; in Odisha, the Gothi; in Karnataka, the Jetha system; and in Madhya Pradesh, the Naukri-Nama are the examples of the bonded labor, and these bonded laborers are invariably belonging to any tribal group. The problems of indebtedness is also acute among the tribal population. Most of them have borrowed money from the local moneylenders, shopkeepers, etc. due to their emergent economic situation. They have borrowed money from the moneylenders but have not been able to pay it back and are bound to work till they return the loan or till their death. A situation of emancipation does not arise as a tribal is not able to repay the loan completely or quickly. Dr. K. Suresh Singh points out those agrarian issues are basic to tribal development in India. The tribal agrarian problems cannot be treated in isolation. The class of moneylenders has arisen due to several factors, including the agrarian legislation. The alienation of land has resulted from tribal backwardness and indebtedness. Integrated tribal development blocks have not produced the results in the tribal areas. Famine and drought has become a recurrent feature of tribal economy. So the tribal problems should be seen in association with the agrarian issues. Keeping the situation of Bihar, the present day Jharkhand, in view, Dr. K. Suresh Singh observed that the concept of aliens, who are called as Diku in Jharkhand, is crucial to the understanding of an agrarian situation where non-tribals outnumbers the tribal population. Alienation of land has resulted from tribal backwardness and their indebtedness. The tribal sub-plan has been introduced to combat the problems of famine, drought, illiteracy, exploitation, etc. by taking up special schemes for the development of tribal areas. Tribal people have to be treated in integration and all the tribal people have to be mainstreamed in the Indian society. Some of the tribal communities even today are engaged in the most primitive form of agriculture, that is shifting cultivation, which is also known as jhum cultivation. This type of agricultural pursuit is not only uneconomical but also causes the problem of deforestation and soil erosion. The soil erosion happens due to deforestation. Since the tribals have no alternative source of livelihood, they are continuing the practice of shifting cultivation and forest cutting for their basic livelihood necessities in some part of the country. The tribals, in protest against the government's policy of minor forest produce takeover in Bihar and cut down forest on large scale in Singhum and other districts. The forest cooperatives can do a lot to better the situation of tribals, but unfortunately the benefits from these societies have reached only to the below sections of the tribal communities such as Vils, Meenaj and Orange, who are more advanced and numerically dominant tribal groups are taking the advantage of these kind of societies. The social movement among tribes aim at collective action to alter, reconstitute, reinterpret, restore, and protect social structure with a view to improve their social, cultural, economic, and political conditions. Hinduism, Christianity, British rule, modern education, post independence legislation, and several other Measures by the government agencies have generated a level of consciousness among the tribals, which has in turn encouraged several movements on the part of tribals. There have been movements to assert their tribal identity and political solidarity. Ecological, cultural isolation, economic backwardness, and a feeling of a frustration have been responsible for these movements by the tribals. The Unnati Samaj, an organization established in the year 1912 for the socio-cultural reforms, and the Adivasi Mahasabha established in 1938 aimed at revivalism in Bihar. The Jharkhand movement during 50s was, however, started to fight the land alienation, exploitation, and for political solidarity among the tribes of Bihar and the adjoining states of Bengal, Odisha, and Madhya Pradesh. During that time, the movement was also for a separate state for the tribals, which later came into existence as the state of Jharkhand. This movement ultimately made a demand for the formation of separate state for the Adivasis for these four states. Movement in the northeast, Manipur, Nagaland, and Mizoram generally refer to cultural and political revivalism, political autonomy, control over the forest, socio-religious, cultural, and linguistic considerations have been the key factors in the tribal movement. Professor S.C. Dubey provides a classification of tribal movements in northeastern India. These are religious and social reform movements. The second is state formation movements. The third is insurgent movements. And the fourth is culturological movements. Dr. K. Suresh Singh has given a detailed account of 36 tribal movements in India, out of which 14 were in the northeastern region alone. Singh classified the various movements into the movements for political autonomy, agrarian and forest-based movement, and the third is Sanskritization process, and the last is cultural movements. A given region may have a particular type of movement because of its specific geographical and political situation in the wider context. An all India travel movement has not emerged because of the diversity and unevenness among the tribes of India. The integration of scheduled tribes with the non-scheduled tribes is taking place. Today, integration of the tribals with the non-tribals is the cornerstone of the policy of the Government of India. The constitutional provisions which are given in, such as Article 46, which mentions that the state shall promote with special care the educational and economical interests of the weaker section of the people, and in particular of the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, and small and shall protect them for social from social injustice and all forms of exploitation. The next important article, 244, has the provision of empowerment has the provision that is empowers the president to declare any areas where there is a substantial population of tribal people as scheduled area under the sixth schedule of the constitution, and these declared scheduled areas are ruled by separate administrative policy. The Article 275 says that there shall be paid out of the Consolidated Fund of India as grant in aid of the revenues of a state, such as capital and recurring sums as may be necessary to enable that state to meet the cost of such schemes of development as may be undertaken by the state with the approval of the Government of India for promoting the welfare of the scheduled tribes in that state or raising the level of administration of the scheduled areas therein to that of the administration of the rest of the state. So, the Constitution of India provides different development provisions for the tribal communities. The tribals have come under the impact of dominant cultural stream of the country. New divisions have been created among the tribals due to cultural changes in their ranks. The Vils in Rajasthan are divided into Bhagats and non-Bhagats. The Bhagats are further divided into Kabirpanthis and the Shambhu The non-Bhagat strives to maintain their traditional way of life. The Bhagats consider themselves superior to the non-Bhagats and the Kabirpanthis consider themselves superior to the Shambhu The notion of the untouchability, pollution, purity, and the rules of marriage, such as caste endogamy, clan exogamy, hypergamy, etc., have been adopted by Bhagats also. Thus, there are levels of integration as there are layers of tribes in India. Industrialization in the tribal areas of present-day Jharkhand, Bengal, Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, and Chhattisgarh has apparently reduced the gap between the tribals and non-tribals, but it also created new problems. The tribals who have been uprooted from their lands have not been absorbed in the new system completely. Hence, they are facing a new form of problem and which is responsible for their poor economic condition. Due to this industrialization in some parts of the country, especially in the above states of Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, and West Bengal, where there is large tribal population, they are facing the problem of displacement and rehabilitation. So, students, let us summarize what we have learned in this module. The Constitution of India has scheduled tribes as a weaker section of the society. The tribes in India are not an uniform lot of people. They have differences in terms of their historical backgrounds, socio-economic level of achievement, and cultural problems, and the levels of advancement and their development. Some tribals live in forests and on hilltops, whereas others live in the plains. Some are practicing settled agriculture, whereas others depend upon the minor forest produce. Some of them have been in close contact with the wider society and have adopted the lifestyle of Hindus, Christians, and other communities. Several provisions and safeguards have been made for the development of tribal communities. Efforts have been made to bring about socio-economic change to make them a part of the national mainstream by putting checks on land alienation, exploitation, indebtedness, and by ensuring their increased participation in the socio-economic and political life of India. Protective discrimination isolates the tribal people from the non-tribesmen. But in course of time, this very policy would bring the tribals at par with the non-tribals. The dominant thinking today is in favor of assimilation of the tribal people into the national mainstream without any disruption. Thank you.